I'm Alex Sharfin, and this is the Momentum Podcast created exclusively for the entrepreneurial personality type. Empire builders, game changers, world makers, shot takers, and creators of all kinds. Those among us who can't turn it off and don't know why anyone would want to. We challenge complacency, destroy apathy, and obsess about creating momentum so we can roll over bureaucracy and make our greatest contribution. Sure, we pay attention to their rules, but only so we can bend them, break them, and rewrite them around our own will. We don't accept our destiny, we define it. We don't understand defeat because the only way you lose is if you stop, and we don't know how. While the rest of the world strives for average and clings desperately to the status quo, we are minority, the few, who are willing to hallucinate there could be a better future, and instead of just daydreaming about what could be, we endure the vulnerability and exposure it takes to make it real. We are the evolutionary hunters, clearly the most important people in the world, because entrepreneurs are the only consistent source of positive human evolution, and we always will be. This is episode 26 of the entrepreneurial personality type. The keystone habit, the single most important biohack for entrepreneurs. I'm excited to share this with you because for people like us, biohacking, optimizing, getting mind-body connected has become so mainstream that you hear about it all the time. But the challenge is there's a lot of technology and advice and so many different things. It's hard to know what to trust and where to go. But today, I want to share with you a biohack that every one of us can use to optimize everything in our lives. And I know that sounds like an exaggeration, but it's not. See, when we reawaken our natural thirst instinct and we become fully hydrated, we change everything in our lives, and it will give you momentum. Hippocrates said, natural forces within us are the true healers of disease. Why is it then that so many entrepreneurs are sick and run down and having hormone issues and having challenges in their lives? In fact, why is it so many people in the world are the same way? Well, when you look at the prescription drugs that are the top 20 to 40 on the market, and you look at the symptoms they treat, they all treat the symptoms of individual diseases. However, they also treat the symptoms of dehydration. See, dehydration causes digestive issues, cognitive issues, depression, acceleration, hyperactivity. It can cause frustration. It can cause challenges with what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, insomnia. It can cause us to sleep less. It can cause us to sleep too much. And it doesn't stop there. Dehydration causes stomach issues, bloating, inflammation. It can even cause muscle and joint pain. If you run down the list of most of the drugs that are prescribed today, you will see that what we're possibly treating is someone just not getting enough water. See, here's how the body is designed to function. Our natural thirst should work so that we are drinking water all day long when we're thirsty, probably more than you ever thought possible. Our body weight should regulate naturally. We should feel our natural hunger because we're functionally moving and breathing. But here's the challenge when it comes to water. Our autonomic and instinctive systems have one goal: survive. They want to keep us alive. And if you think for a second that our body is looking to help us thrive, it just simply isn't. The challenge for all of us is that we are in a constant survive or thrive mode. And here's what happens. When we are in survive mode as entrepreneurs, when an evolutionary hunter doesn't have the resources they need, if resources aren't present, the body will begin to conserve resources and we will go into a survival mode. When resources are abundant, the body will use those resources and we as entrepreneurs will thrive. Here's why this is so important for all of us to understand. In survival mode, the body does anything it can to keep us alive, including making it very difficult for us to do just about anything else. See, when we're dehydrated, when we don't have the nutrients we need, when we don't have everything that we should have to move forward, here's what the body does, and you may have felt this. You dehydrate, first step is the body will slow your metabolism. You have that low energy crash feeling. We actually stop purging or eliminating as much. We don't go to the bathroom as much. It actually slows or stops our digestion, and we get foggy, racing, unclear memory issues. How many of you feel like you maybe have had a symptom like that or two? When we're in survival mode, the body conserves resources. It actually holds on to water. While we dehydrate, we get bloating, muscle pain, inflammation, maybe even joint pain, back pain. All can be caused by dehydration. When the body's in survival mode, it also conserves calories. It burns, it slows calorie burn. Sugar burn slows down. It actually uses the easy nutrients first, sugars before fat, because it's trying to just survive. And when you're in survival mode, the body actually purposefully and aggressively stores fat. It grows fat cells, multiplies fat cells, and it holds on to fat in order to survive. So when we dehydrate, that's exactly what happened, because when we're in survival mode, our body conserves water, it stores fat and slows metabolism, overrides our natural hunger. We eat in survival mode, and then it minimizes and constrains movement. In fact, you may be one of those people that wants to work out, wants to optimize, wants to get healthy. You just can't find the energy or the motivation. It may be your body's survival instinct kicking in because resources just aren't present. What happens to your head when your body's in a survival mode? I think every one of us knows this. See, when we get into that survival mode, you may not have recognized it as this, but we get tired, irritable, frustrated. We're more reactive to things than we normally would be. We have a hard time figuring out how to create the momentum we know we can. When we convince the body to thrive, we achieve freedom of movement. We can do what we want. We can create momentum because physiologically we are present. We think more clearly. We achieve more. We move forward faster. The challenge for all of us is this. Our bodies are always subject to disease. We get sick when the disease is stronger than we are. And so anytime that toxicity goes up in our body, anytime we feel drag in our body, we expose ourselves to being subject to disease. We invite disease into our body when we are not thriving. Remember, things are giving you momentum in your life or they are taking it away. So when toxicity goes up, our ability to fight disease goes down. When toxicity goes up, our ability to make decisions goes down. When toxicity goes up, our ability to be present and aware goes down. And when toxicity goes up, our ability to care about others goes down. This happens to every one of us. This is the challenge of falling out of physiological momentum. When you dehydrate, your body immediately begins to become more toxic because water is the primary means of removal of toxicity from the body. In fact, water is responsible for removing toxicity from the body. It flushes body waste and mainly in the urine. It lubricates our joints. It allows the body's cells to grow, multiply, and survive. It keeps your mucous membranes moist. It allows you to breathe easier. It regenerates body tissues. It regulates your body temperature. It acts as a shock absorber for the brain and spinal cord. It converts food to components needed for digestion and survival. It helps deliver oxygen all over the body, and water is the major component of all of our body parts. So if you're one of those people who just doesn't drink water, you have effectively turned off one of the major survival instincts we have as human beings. And here's how easy that is. See, the thirst instinct is a subtle one. It whispers to us. It says, "You're thirsty." And it doesn't say it often. Because I know every entrepreneur has had the experience of getting up in the morning and thinking to themselves, "I'm thirsty, I should get a glass of water," and then looking up at 4 p.m. with a slight headache and maybe some body pain, knowing that you're not being productive and thinking to yourself, "Have I had any water to drink at all today?" Why does that happen? Because evolutionarily, If we were thirsty, we would have gone and drank water. The only species on the planet that has taught themselves to sip are human beings. When you watch a dog drink or any type of an animal drink, they drink like they mean it because they don't know when water will be available again. And as evolutionary hunters, that's exactly how we would have behaved. But because we are in a civilized society, we have access to water, we know it'll be there when we want it, we often avoid drinking it. We miss actually hydrating and creating the momentum we possibly could because we don't pay attention to that very subtle thirst instinct. See, the natural thirst cycle is a simple one. There's a thirst signal that's activated. We have the instinct, and then we make the decision to drink water. That signal is satisfied. We have some time and activity, and the signal fires again. The challenge today is that so many of us don't drink water that we get up in the morning and we have this water debt cycle. Here's how it works. You get up in the morning, you're dehydrated, your body's greatest need for water. It fires the thirst instinct. And if we ignore or suppress that instinct, if we don't drink water, the body, our neurology, instinctively, evolutionarily says we must be in an area where water is not available. And the same way that if you walk into a room with a terrible smell, neural attenuation allows that smell to go away over time, your body does not continue to fire the thirst instinct because evolutionarily, that thirst instinct might have distracted you from getting away from the woolly mammoth, might have distracted you from getting to your outcome, might have distracted you from doing what you should be doing. So instead, we can suppress, shut down, and make our thirst instinct completely and totally dormant. There's a way to reawaken your natural thirst. Tomorrow morning when you get up, when your body has that massive need for water, when you're at your most dehydrated, when you actually have gotten shorter overnight due to dehydration, it's a proven scientific fact that the water in our spinal column, in our brains, goes down overnight and we have to replenish it in the morning. In fact, the area of the body that uses the most water, the area of highest water exchange is in the cerebral spinal fluids. And so where does the body shut down first when you dehydrate? In the area of highest exchange. So to reawaken your natural thirst, I'm going to give you step 1 of a 3-part process. And you can go to the URL I'm going to give you in a moment so that you can fully reawaken your natural thirst, optimize your health, start making better decisions. Because when you hydrate, your mind and body will connect in a way like you never thought possible. 75 to 85% of the population is thought to be dehydrated. And when we look at the population at large, and you think of the symptoms I mentioned earlier, it's easy to see that they are. To reclaim your natural thirst beginning tomorrow morning, when you get up in the morning, hyperhydrate. Drink 16 ounces or more of water all at once. It might be difficult the first time you do it, but it's like a workout in a glass. Drinking 16 ounces of water at once raises your metabolism 30 to 50% for 2 hours. That is literally like doing aerobic exercise. All you have to do is drink water tomorrow morning. What will happen is it will reawaken your dormant thirst signal. Tomorrow morning, by hyperhydrating, you will let your body know evolutionarily you are in an area of abundance. And what will happen is that thirst signal will fire more often during the day. And each time it does, drink 16 ounces or more of water, drink until you're not thirsty anymore, satisfy that signal, and you will find that within no time, you're drinking more water than you ever thought possible. Now, water is a subject that I have obsessed over for years because I look at the keystone habits that help us create success as entrepreneurs. And in my career, I quickly realized just how important water was. As a Fortune 500 consultant, I spent time sitting next to some of the most brilliant people in the world. And sometimes we would be in all-day meetings or at all-day events or in a place where things ran late and we didn't have everything we needed. And here's what I can tell you. When we were sitting in the waiting room at Walmart or at Radio Shack or at Office Depot or Home Shopping Network or any of the major accounts we called on, and something took too long or our meetings were delayed, as we got dehydrated, meetings got worse. And if I went into a meeting with someone who wasn't fully hydrated, who wasn't prepared, who didn't have their full mind-body connection, the results were terrible. As a consultant, I got obsessed with carrying around bottles of water for all of my clients just in case we got taken to the deep end of the pool, just in case it took too long, because here's what I realized very quickly. A fully hydrated individual thinks better. A fully hydrated individual actually can do more, and a fully hydrated individual is chemically balanced. I want to help you create all the momentum you possibly can. But I also want to help you get more out of your diet, out of the supplements, out of everything you're doing. If you're working out, eating well, supplementing, doing the things you should do to be healthy, but you aren't hydrated, you are not optimizing. So take a second now and go to getthirstynow.com. And yes, I know what get thirsty means. It actually has a sexual connotation. We did it on purpose because it was catchier. So go to getthirstynow.com and download the 10-day natural thirst challenge. This will work for anyone, but I design products for entrepreneurial personality types. And here's what I want you to know. When you download this challenge, absolutely free, what will happen is that you will be given strategies created specifically for people like us that will help you drink more water than you ever thought possible, fully hydrate, connect your mind and body, all without ever feeling like you're white-knuckling anything. In fact, from the second you start to years later, you will only feel momentum. I want to thank you for listening to the Entrepreneurial Personality Type podcast. Do me a favor, if you haven't yet, review this podcast. Let me know how we're doing. Go to iTunes, leave us some comments. That's the major way that Apple does rankings, and we would love to see just how high we can get. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on episode 27. Every billionaire's, and really every successful person's secret, and it might surprise you.